Well, I've finally made it to the allotment. It's a beautiful sunny day, hasn't rained all day. Car's made a little bit of a dent in the grass there as I've come up. This lot's got to be cleared, but today I'm going to start working on the first bed. I've noticed I've got a few little birds around here, notably a robin and a couple of sparrows. So maybe I'll have a bit of company today. I've left my little dog at home because it's a bit too muddy to drag him out in this. He'll be a bit upset, but then as the weather gets better during the spring, he'll probably spend quite a bit of time up here with me. So I'm going to crack on. If I walk down here for a second, this is the bed I'm going to be working on. I've got a lot to clear. It's very slippery and I'm on a slope here, so I've got to be very careful, especially with my dodgy back. But as you can probably see, there's a lot to be done. Very overgrown. And another task that I need to get cracking on with at some point soon, that's me in the shadow there, is clearing this lot. Because it's going to be very difficult to work here without, well, with that lot in the way really. So without anything further ado, I'm going to get my wellies on and get stuck in, and I'll see if I can record a bit after when I've done some. Would you believe that that's representative of about an hour's work? I had my finger in the way there. So I've actually dug out some really deep roots and found a few potatoes over there. And if you can see those, a few spuds. Apparently the fella that had this before filled these up with potatoes, all of them. So I'm going to take all this lot out. I'm only going to do another hour today, so I'll have half this bed clear. And I've got to find somewhere to put the rubbish, because as things stand at the moment, there's nowhere to put my compost. So I'll have to trudge it down the bottom of the plot or something. Anyway, I found that I've inherited an apple tree, no idea what variety it is, and it looks like I've got blackcurrant bush, gooseberry bush and a blackberry bush. So there's a bit of fruit there already in the ground. Soil here is really good. I'm going to take my finger out of the way. That is really good quality soil, that. A bit wet, but still crumbly. It's crumbling well, but there's a lot of bindweed in here. And there was an awful lot of dockweed as well. And kutch grass. So that's what's taken me all this time. But as I say, little and often I'll get it sorted. Won't be long. Within the month, assuming we get a few dry days, I'll have this bed working. I've managed to pick up some cardboard, so I'll cover this one today, or this half, and crack on with the other half, assuming we get a couple of fine days in the near future. But we'll win in the end. Met a couple of my neighbours. That's Keith and Roy just going up the polytunnel there. And the lady next door to me apparently is called Jan. And I've got another lady at the end of my plot called Dawn, who's a paramedic. It'd be handy if I collapse. And as you can see, we're sort of situated in quite a new area, but it is south facing. Well, so it's an hour later. I'm absolutely knackered, but got my membrane ready to go on part 1. I've dug up most of part 2, and a little bit in the corner still to do. Got another bit of membrane that'll go over that, but I'm not doing it today. I've had 2 heart attacks already, so it's time to call it a day for me. But hoping for another dry day. This is the rubbish out of here. Got to find somewhere to put it because I haven't got a compost bin at the minute. But there was a bonus. these spuds. About 3 different varieties there. There's definitely a meal or two there for me. Very fertile soil, lots of worms, lots of worm activity. I was talking to another allotmenteer here, and apparently the chap that had this plot spent an absolute fortune setting up the raised beds and the polytunnel. Bought in compost, soil and manure, and built up the beds. I reckon it probably cost him about £1,500 for what he'd done. And then we just planted some potatoes, left them, didn't do anything to them, came back disappointed with the crop, and he's never been back since, which is not really the way forward. I mean, he hadn't really done anything, he just put the spuds in the ground and hoped that they would do it all themselves, which they probably would have done. And judging by that little lot, there's still some alive down there, so it's not lacking in nutrition, it just needed a little bit of work. Once I get all the rot out of here, the soil is really good stuff. And down the bottom, I'm not sure if I mentioned it down the bottom, but I've actually got fruit trees now. Apple tree on the left, and blackcurrant, they think, on the right. Blackberry a bit nearer to me, just as the other side of the polytunnel. And looks like it might be a raspberry cane in there as well. I'm not sure yet because it's got nothing on it, just a couple of buds. We'll find out later in the year anyway. But that's the plot. And as you can see, we've got a housing estate on that side. Then you go down that way, there's a housing estate at the bottom. Well, it's not an estate as such. There's a big school over there. And we're surrounded by mountains. Those are the Brecon Beacons in the background. So you can imagine it gets a fair bit of a chill wind here in the winter. I'm waiting to see what it is. Anyway, that's it for now. So I'll be back again if the weather's fine tomorrow, and hopefully finish this bed and get partly started on this one. So this one doesn't look so bad actually, it doesn't seem to have so much bindweed. A few nettles and things in there. But I found the grass isn't particularly deep rooted, and you just lift it up and it comes off like a mat, so that's pretty good stuff. A lot of the stuff that's in there, this is old potatoes. They just all died on the top, but they're pretty solidly rooted into the ground, so they're a bit of a pain to get out. But we'll work on it, one piece at a time. I've decided to replace the polytunnel rather than repair it, and I'll use the hoops to make a net or a cloche to cover one of the beds for protection. Maybe make a fruit cage in it. I don't know, I'll find out something to do with it anyway. That's it for now. Bye.